Yo, what's good, Celtics fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Celtics Chronicle with me, your boy Adam Taylor. As usual, I'm joined by my homie, compadre, co-host in crime, Mr. Mike Weather. What's good?
What's good, Adam? How are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I tell you what, I'm waiting to see who the Celtics sign. So we're recording this on Saturday, April 4th, and the Celtics have to sign somebody today. Could be Charles Bassey, could be Ron Harper Jr. They have two open roster spots. They have to stay above 14, which means by the end of the day, or at least, yeah, by the end of today, period, they have to sign somebody. Who that is, we're going to have to wait and see. That's not what this episode's about, though. We are talking kind of a roster move. And the reason I wanted to talk about this was just because I've seen people discussing his production all year, saying like, oh, he's sliding, trade him, try and flip him in a deal. So I wanted to just have a quick conversation about Sam Hauser and whether or not he's going to be a trade candidate at the end of the season. And a lot of people were discussing Sam as a potential trade candidate at the end of last season. So it feels like this is just going to be a recurring discussion point for as long as Hauser's on the roster. And then I saw this article yesterday, which I'm about to put up on screen, and this kind of cemented me wanting to talk about it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just Sam Hauser on a Bleacher Report article. So, it's just people throwing out ideas. This isn't reporting. This isn't factual. It's just somebody's made a listicle of each team's most likely trade candidate. And that's no shade on Bleacher Report for what they're doing or anything like that. It's just very much an idea. And once again, Sam Hauser is floated on there. So I wanted to talk about this with you, Mike, and just see whether you kind of agree that Sam Hauser needs to be traded. Do you feel like he's just getting a lot of hate because as a perimeter guy, he's going to go through streaky periods? Just kind of get a heat check on where you're at with this.
Perspective is interesting, right? You think the team that we had the last few years, Sam was a valuable player. Like, oh my God, we're only paying him so much money. He's so valuable to have. Because I think the perspective and context of that was the Celtics ownership thinking like, hey, we're going to spend money. We're here to win championships. And obviously that shifted in the offseason with a lot of the choices that ownership, I'm assuming, told Brad, hey, like we need to cut costs. We need to get under the aprons and all that stuff, right? Which they've successfully navigated through. God bless Brad for that, threading of that needle. But now you're looking at a team that is slightly under the cap, looking at the future, and then the growth of all the wings. My eyeballs have told me Sam's had a lot more struggles this year watching the games, but then you pull up the stats and I think he's still shooting 39%, which is 1% lower than his career average and still significantly better than most guys in the league. So for what he's paid to do, he does it. He's also turned himself into an incredible team defender. He's no longer just like ISO'd out, and picked on all the time. And I also like the last couple of games that he's been doing pull-ups, 2-point shots, like, which is really good. He's keeping them honest, which I love. So I think the construct of the team that we were going into this quote unquote gap year, I could have seen him being traded. And actually I had this idea today when I was thinking about the Trailblazers, how well they've done this year for them. And I thought, man, is there a world where we could have kept Drew Holiday and traded Sam and somebody else? And what would that have looked like? But thinking about the future of our team, I think what makes Bleacher Report and others maybe think Sam is dispensable or at least possibly a trade candidate is the growth of Scheierman and Hugo and even Jordan Walsh to an extent, even though he's not the shooter. None of them are the shooter that Sam is, although Baylor's pretty good. But that's my perspective. It's just like we went from on a dynasty, this is exactly what you want, to where does this fit in a gap year, to, oh wow, like we're a contender, but we're being fiscally responsible, for lack of a better term. What does that look like? So
I think the fiscal responsibility is kind of a big part of why people expect Hauser to be traded. Because if you look at it from a percentage point, he's shooting 39% this year, which is a career low for him from deep. But at the same time, and that's 39% from three, not just in general, but at the same time, he's taking the most shots of his career. He's also been taking those shots on a team that doesn't have the gravity of Jason Tatum for pretty much all of the season. And he's kind of had to figure out where those shots are going to come from. He's had new people setting him up, so they've had to learn his tendencies. And granted, he's played with Jaylen Brown for the entirety of his career. He's played with Derek White for most of his career. It's not like Hauser doesn't know these guys, but everybody was having to learn a new role. So I think that played a part. It's also just streaky shooting. And Hauser was on a real bad slump to begin the season. Then he went through another slump. When you're looking at a guy earning 10 mil, if he's going 0 of 6, 0 of 7 on a couple of nights in a week, people are
Yeah.
going to be like, well, what are we paying this guy for? It happens. But just in terms of overall scoring talent, I don't think there's many better catch and shoot guys, come off a screen on the move, catch and release than what
Yeah.
Sam Hauser is. And you mentioned it as well. He over the last 18 months, he's really been developing his off the dribble game just to attack closeouts, right? Like when you've got the scoring gravity, the shooting gravity, sorry, that he has on the perimeter, closeouts come fast. And learning how to put the ball on the floor, take 1 or 2 dribbles and get just an easy jumper up, that's a key. And then Hauser took it one step further and 1-2 dribbles into layup, into a floater. He's kind of added that multi-level scoring when attacking closeouts, which to me makes him more valuable. Now, this isn't saying that they won't trade him. This isn't saying that they shouldn't trade him. It's saying that if you were going to trade him, the return would have to be that he was part of a deal for a star. I think that if you're trying to just get off money, there's other ways to do that that's not going to crush the floor spacing. Him between Brown, White, Tatum, Pritchard, and Hauser, I think you've got like a really, really solid core that you can build around. Just because of the floor spacing that Pritchard and Hauser can give you, the two-way play of Jaylen Brown, the connectivity of Derek White, and then obviously everything that Tatum does. I think that those 5 guys to me are the 5 that you keep, and then you continue to put pieces around. If Scheierman continues to develop, then maybe this conversation changes, right? If Scheierman, because Scheierman is like, if he can get up to a 39-40% three-point shooter consistently, then Scheierman is a more complete version of Sam Hauser, at which point it becomes a lot easier to get off of Sam Hauser and not feel too bad about it. But I mean, if you go and pull up Baylor Scheierman's numbers, which I'm doing as we speak, what the first thing you want to do is you want to see how many shots a game he's taking right now from deep, which works out to 2.9 shots per game at 38.6%. Okay, so he's taken, let's say 3 shots a game, shooting pretty much the same, 38.6. We can round that up to 39.
Yeah.
Shooting
Splitting
very
hairs,
similar,
close.
but it's on 3.5 shots a game less than Sam Hauser. So the question then becomes, if we force feed Scheierman an extra 3 or 4 perimeter shots a game, can that 3-point shooting stay the same? And I think that it makes more sense, at least to me, to run another year with Hauser and slowly up Scheierman's involvement on the perimeter shooting and see how that lives and how that levels out. And if it does,
Yeah.
now we can feel good maybe moving Hauser in February, if you
Yeah.
decide that that's the way to go. But I just think that Baylor Scheierman is the biggest threat for Sam Hauser right now, but trading Sam Hauser without a definitive plan or without him being part of a deal for like a borderline all-star, that just makes no sense to me.
Right. I think if the other conversation is around the development of all the other players too, because as we've talked about, our bigs have surprised everyone. I mean, even the most optimistic, green teamer would say like, wow, I did not expect Nemi and Luca to be this good. Never mind, hopefully Vooch returning for us. But I think if we went into the season and we're like, the only reason why we suck or we're not great is our lack of interior presence, then you might have a conversation where you're thinking like, okay, who's our number one trade asset to acquire that person we need? That the Jaren Jackson trade that was made for Utah, because the salary is a solid salary to make those types of moves. But I do think the playoffs are going to be really interesting. I think you're going to see who Joe trusts, right? We know he trusts Sam. Sam's starting. I think when he goes through those struggles, I'm always like, why is he playing so much? Why is he playing so much? But the reality of it is chemistry is a real thing in a 5-man game. I mean, basketball is not football. It's not 11 guys out there. It's important to have trust and communication. He's a great team defender. I think the playoffs are going to be really interesting. I think like he's going to either continue to be ascending like he has been, or possibly it gives somebody like Scheierman or Hugo a chance to be like a stopper and also hit big shots. And I think Hugo stepped into the league a significantly better defender than Sam is currently. Scheierman has shocked everyone with how well of a defender he's become. Like we talked about the other day with him being a B-rated tier 1 defender, which is mind-boggling to me. I don't know what Sam Hauser equates to, but I do know he's not a liability defensively. But I do think we can't discount the development of the bigs. in the wings and how that might make him slightly dispensable, where maybe we would be having this conversation in the offseason.
That's completely fair. And as you mentioned, like, Hugo's a better defender than Sam. He's also far more explosive as a slasher. He could be a bit of a connector there. And he can hit threes. He's not a specialist by any way, shape, or form. And credit to Sam Hauser for this. Sam Hauser is a guy that came into the league as a single skill specialist, as I like to call him. He was good at one thing and only one thing. And he's rounded out his game. Right. I remember, and I like to brag about this whenever we do an episode about Sam Hauser, and I'll have to try and find the link. I was one of the first people, if not the first people, to interview Sam when he signed with Boston as an undrafted rookie, and it was up on the old YouTube channel that ultimately got took. But like when I spoke to him, his whole thing at that moment in time, he was on a 2-way contract. It was just a stick. Do you know what I mean? Just a stick in Boston to learn.
Yeah.
And he went from there, and then like obviously now where he's now NBA champion, solid defender, respected around the league. And the one thing I think of when I look at him play is the effort he had to put in to get to where he is versus a guy that got drafted in and then like was in a situation where money was being put into his development. It's kind of like just a testament to the work effort he shows on the floor. In terms of his shooting, I do want to mention as well, the value of having Sam out there when he's not scoring is quite simple. Coming into a game, I don't think many players are looking at like overall shooting averages for like 10-game stretch or 2-game, 5-game sample size. What they know is this guy's a shooter and this guy can score. So if you're on an 0 for 5 stretch, they might defend you slightly differently, but generally teams are still going to close out on you because once you see 1, you're going to see 5. That's just the way the game goes. And Hauser is always a threat to let it fly and let it like knock it down. So I do think that his value in the postseason is still probably above what Baylor and what Hugo can give to you, just from experience, from floor spacing, from just, as you mentioned, chemistry.
Yeah, the moment won't feel too big for him. He's been there, he's done that.
It's normal. But over the summer, when a guy's take a leap, like Baylor's coming into his 3rd year, and in the summer, this will be coming into his 3rd year. And that's when players generally take their biggest developmental leap is the 3rd summer after being in the league. So he could come back and just be ready to completely replace Sam. He could come back and be on par as a shooter as Sam, just in a different way, right? I feel like Baylor's better off the dribble a little bit. I'm not a big fan of the no dip free. I know like the broadcast crew. I'm just like, dude,
I feel good about that as I do it. Tatum's one-legged 3-pointer he's been shooting so far.
I mean, but Tatum's like an all NBA guy. You want to go dirt, go dirt. But like there's no dude, just find your shooting pocket and keep that rhythm.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I am going to put it out there that I think Sam Hauser stays this summer, unless there's a decently sized trade. We might be having a different conversation, as you mentioned, depending on how Hugo, how Baylor, and even how Jordan Walsh develop between now and February. A lot can change.
If I may, let's not discount Ron Harper Jr. I mean,
that's fair.
I mean, I know there's a real good chance by the time this even posts, right? This could be the official 14th member of the team even. But, man, Ron Harper Jr. has been a testimonial. I mean, a testament to the development. I mean, that game against Houston, well, I mean, he guarded KD.
That was a defensive clinic.
I mean, what? Yeah, and then his athleticism. He's had a couple really wonderful putbacks, and he's a really good ball handler, too, underrated ball handler, because he was kind of like, if I'm not mistaken, at Rutgers, like a point power forward. And he's really worked to get lean and to develop his all-around game. And I just think, like, that's somebody we can't sleep on. Joe showed surprising confidence in Ron Harper Jr.
We haven't even spoke about Jordan Walsh either. You know what I mean? And, like, look, not all of these guys are going to be on the roster next season. Like, Jordan Walsh, if I remember correctly, there's a team option for him right now that the team has not picked up. There's a chance that Jordan Walsh isn't on this team. There's a chance that Ron Harper Jr. gets signed to the end of the year with a team option and doesn't get picked up. There's a chance that Baylor Scheierman gets flipped in the same hypothetical deal that we're kind of putting Hauser in if Hauser's moved. The way things look now aren't guaranteed to be the way things look next season. And we should know that now because of how much changed this past summer. Things can just change quickly. And Brad Stevens has never been shy about making a trade when it means that it's going to improve the team. But you are right. There's like 4 forwards, 4 wings behind Hauser that are all developing that can do what he does to a certain degree, along with do 3 or 4 extra things that Sam Hauser just genuinely can't do. So there is a chance. Right now, I'd put it as a 50-50 shot he's on the team to start next season. And then I'd put it down, like, depending on how the development of the other guys, I'd say there might be a 70% chance he's gone by February.
Yeah, and I think back to the offseason, let's keep it real. 5 of our top 9 guys are gone from last year. So who's to say what the offseason looks like? Brad certainly is, if anything, not predictable. And I respect that about him. He's a silent assassin. Like you think you have an idea what's going on. I always laugh whenever there's a rumor about the Celtics. I'm like, yeah, that's bullshit. Because Brad doesn't show his cards, man. He does not show his cards. He's got a cone of silence going on, and I appreciate that. But it's got to be a fun offseason. Yeah.
Got to credit the organization as well. Shit just not leak. It just doesn't. Everyone's tight-lipped. With that, I want to reach out to everyone that's listening right now that made it to the end or even clicked through to the end. What's your thoughts? I know Sam Hauser has split opinion a lot this season. So let us know in the comments. Do you think Hauser should stay? Do you think the Celtics should look to flip him? If they look to flip him, who for, as part of what deal? However you want to take it, that's what the comment sections are for. I'll try and get back to everybody. As long as your comments are reasonable and like in good faith, I'll try and get back to everyone. With that, make sure you subscribe to the Celtics Chronicle newsletter. Links in the description. Show some love to the channel. And Mike, where are you playing today?
I'm at a really cool brewery up near me called the Berkeley Beer Company. We're doing acoustic. It's a real chill thing. And I just want to give a shout out to my high school where I coach, Bristol Aggie. That's the hat for the baseball team. Happy to get some free swag, but always happy to be here, my man. Thanks so much for having me.
Appreciate you, man. Everybody, we love y'all. Stay safe. Enjoy the weekend. Go Celtics. Subscribe.